This is a short introduction on our subject on philosophy of Filipino management. So let's start. When we talk about Filipino management, okay, there are a lot of things that we have to consider. Okay, before we go to our topics, okay, I want you to take note of the following. Okay, first, okay, take note that most of the approaches in Filipino management are deeply rooted to culture and values. Now, although we have a separate discussion or report on this topic, as of this point, I just want to emphasize that when we talk about culture in Filipino management, we're talking about the, how do you say this, the customs and your collective way of life. This is how we've been doing things in the past. Okay, and most of the time that is the most popular basis for the approaches in Filipino management. Aside from that, okay, we also have values. Okay, now as of this point, when we talk about values, this is different from ethics, no? And although we have a separate topic again pertaining to ethics, values is something that is implicit, it's intrinsic, not like ethics which is explicit. Okay, and it's made clear to us. And when we talk about values, this one is subjective. What may be valuable to you may not be valuable to me. Okay, so this is one of the most celebrated aspects that you have to consider when we talk about Filipino management. Okay, culture has the what you call this, has the largest impact, okay, when it comes to the approaches developed, okay, in this area. Next, you will expect that in Filipino management, most of the focus will be on the management of the cost of resources. Now, every time we talk about resources, you already know your 4Ms, right? Most of the time we are pertaining to your 4Ms. Or in some books, we have 5Ms. Okay, now when we say 4Ms, you have here your manpower. Okay. And manpower. You have your manpower. You have here your materials. And we have your manpower, materials. Also, you have here your methods. Okay. And you have your, or there's one more. Ayun. You have your Mac or machines, okay, or your machineries. And when we talk of the resources, most of the time, okay, under Filipino management, the focus is on your manpower and your materials. Now, in some books, you have 5Ms, okay, because aside from this, you also have money, okay, pero, diba, when we talk about money, your money is used, no? Once your money is used, it will become one of your resources. It could be one of your machines, materials, or manpower. Okay, so ayun. And when we say cost of resources, we are talking about the sacrifices made. Okay, now when we say sacrifices, we're not just talking about the money, no? But also the time and, of course, your effort. Okay. And even the benefits that are foregone. Okay. Now, when we say benefits foregone, these are actually your opportunity cost. They are all considered as cost of our resources. Okay. And when we say focus on cost of resources, especially manpower and materials, okay, most of the time, simply lang, as much as possible, we want to minimize our cost. This is the traditional, although under Filipino management, okay, well, syempre, our environment is constantly changing, okay. This is not just the focus anymore, okay. We also consider the cost versus benefit approach. If the benefit justifies the cost of these resources, then that's considered as a good decision. Okay, now also, under Filipino management, one of the driving factors or the aspects that you have to consider is your motivation. Now, when we talk of motivation, there are different models, no, and theories focusing on motivation. But, okay, most of the time, what is applicable to us, okay, is the one that is, ayun, naalala nyo pa to? Ayun, this is known as your Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I think there are 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so here you have your, I think your okay, your physiological needs, and then you have here your safety needs. Okay, safety needs, you have, if I remember it right, I think this is love and belonging. Okay, love and belonging, also known as your social needs. And then after that, you have here your esteem, o parang ganon. And then you have here your self-actualization. Okay, now, most of the time, you expect that motivational approaches are focused on these two, no? Ayan, your survival or physiological needs. Anyway, again, we have a separate topic, okay, pertaining to that. Also, under Filipino management, okay, syempre, okay, when we talk about management, okay, we will always talk about leadership. And you expect that leadership under Filipino management is patriarchal. How do I spell that? Something like that. Anyway, let's continue to the next slide. Other aspects that you have to consider, you have the changing environment. You expect that approaches will always adapt on what is trending or what is applicable to us. If you try to analyze, no, and try to understand the different leadership models and leadership approaches, most of the time, okay, Filipino managers are situational. Okay, let me write that down. Okay, situational yung approaches nila. And again, culture. Okay, nandiyan na naman yung culture and the management functions. When we talk about management functions, you have the basic planning, leading, organizing, controlling, directing, motivating, and decision making. Okay, now decision making is always integrated with the different functions. And under Filipino management, it's not just decision making, but culture, the way of life, or the collective customs, no, will always be integrated, no, from the planning stage up to controlling and directing. Okay, now also under Filipino management, you will be expecting to encounter the following concepts. Hindi lang naman sa Filipino management, but in general, okay, there will always be topics on teamwork and competitions. Kaya nga lang, under Filipino management, most of the time, okay, we have a different approach to this, no? Okay, although ideally, okay, when we talk about teamwork, we're supposed to be working for a common goal, which is good for the entity, okay, but sometimes in the Filipino management environment, okay, you will expect your manpower, no, ganyan natin, teamwork, ayan, working as a team, okay, for the betterment of themselves, not just for the entity. Paano ba yun? This is common, like for example, okay, ano bang magandang situation dito when one of the employees would say, oh, let's not pass our requirements or our reports today so that the deadline will be adjusted. O, diba? Sounds familiar, okay? Although that is not beneficial for the institution or for the organization, but that one is beneficial for the employees. So, ayun, maling teamwork. Even competitions, ideally, we expect our organizations, no, or our entities to compete with other companies belonging to the same industry. Okay, and manpower should be working as a team. Ganun dapat. Kaya nga lang, under Filipino management, sometimes you will see competitions within the organization. Okay? We will put more emphasis on this when we go to teamwork and competitions. Anyway, okay, you also have the topic on communication. There are two kinds, diba? We have our formal, which is based on our organizational structure. Okay. And then you have your informal. You have your informal, which is based on informal. Ayan. Which is based on our relationship with each other. Ayan. When it comes to decision making and not just decision making, but for management, most of the time in the Filipino setting, okay, this has more weight. Okay, your informal communication. Sometimes this is even more relevant, okay, when it comes to decision making. Okay, and then we expect that there will always be false self-attribution. There are two kinds, no, for false self-attribution. For example, when we talk about credits, ito na lang. It really depends on the STEAM eh. Tama ba? STEAM. Pasensya na po kayo sa sulat. Let's pretend that I have the best funds. No? When we talk about false self-attribution, kunyari, if there is a credit, no? Let's talk about credits. Ayan. If someone did a good job, okay, that someone will say, because I have the talents or because I did something really good. But if something went wrong, okay, if something went wrong, there will always be the blame game. Oh, well, it's not my fault. Okay. Diba? Even in the academe, no, let's talk about students na lang. Okay, if a student has a high grade, the student will say, well, because I'm a good student, I have the talents, I have the intelligence, and I made the necessary efforts to have this grade. But if the grade is low, no, if the grade is low, what will the student say? Because the teacher, no, because the teacher is not teaching, or I don't have enough materials to use, or I don't have enough time. Okay, so that's what you call false self-attribution. Now, sometimes, no, there are also students, no, saying, kunyari, if the grades are high, well, because I have good teachers, my family is supporting me, okay, and I have all the materials that I needed. I'm just lucky that I passed or I have a high grade. Okay, now if the grades are low, okay, sasabihin ng student, well, because it's my fault. I did not put enough effort, or I am not that intelligent. Okay, so again, okay, this is most of the time dictated by the level of your self-esteem. And then there will always be narrow framing. Under Filipino management, most of the time, we look at situations as black or white lang. Okay. If you are not right, based on my perspective, then you are wrong. Okay. Most of the time, that is being observed. But take note, between black and white, there are more than 50 shades of grays in between. And this is more of a continuum. Now, I'm just saying, under Filipino management, most of the time, we don't consider this gray. It's just black or white. Okay, so, ayun. And then, there is extreme risk aversion. Bakit ganon? Well, it has something to do with history. In the past, no, alam naman natin, Philippines has been a colony of the Spaniards, and then you have the Japanese, and then you have the Americans, and because of this suppression, no, the Filipino mentality involved to something that is extremely risk averse. We don't want to take risk anymore. Why? Because of theory of scarcity, because of being suppressed, no, suppressed for a long period of time. We were trained to believe that things are not enough. no, to go around, and that we don't want to lose the stuff that we have. Okay, so ayun. And because of that, you will expect that there will always be misassessment of risk due to emotional returns. Most of the time, the benefits, okay, the benefits that we consider, well, it's supposed to be measured in terms of money, but when we talk about decision making under Filipino management, okay, this has more impact. Will my decision make me happy? Okay, will the people in this organization be happy with this type of decision? And why misassessment of risk? Sometimes we look at risk that can be calculated, no, as irrelevant risk na siya. We don't calculate the level of risk anymore. Instead, we base it on how we feel. Ayan, di ba? Kaya nga because of these two factors, Filipinos are fond of betting. Ayan, we want to make bets. Ayun, di ba? Gaya ng lotto. How do I spell lotto? Okay, tong eats, di ba? Because the cost is very low. Okay, this is a low risk decision or low risk activity. It's actually not true. Di ba? Alam naman natin yon in financial management. Anyway, so those are the things that you expect, no, from the topics here in Filipino management. Now, what are the driving forces or what are the factors, okay, that affects the topics under philosophy of Filipino management? Okay, so first things first, ayan, the implication of the topic, okay, of the following areas pala in our topic, like political, economic, environmental, di ba? These are the favorite topics in our institution. And of course, organizational behavior. Ayan, okay. Also, you have your organizational culture and structure. Okay. So, for example, and let's just use 1 and 2. If let's say we're talking about management per se, okay, what are the what makes the Filipino management approach different from that of our countries? Okay, that will be answered by these forces. Well, it's because of yung political background ng mga Filipinos, the economic background. This will all make a significant difference in our management approaches. Okay, so ganun din. Ayan, nandyan na naman yung culture and structure. Learning, socialization, and motivation. Okay, in our first topic, okay, I think that's the Filipino worker and how you motivate the Filipino worker. Okay, this one will be tackled. And then you also have the Filipino productivity, performance, and talent. When we talk about the basic Filipino culture and habits, no, madidiscuss po natin yan. And then, other forces, okay? You have, what are the Filipino counterproductive behaviors? We have to take note of them. Okay? And then, health and conflicts. Okay? Leadership and communication, teamwork and innovation, and of course, hindi po mawawala dito yung ethics and spirituality, because majority of the Filipinos are Christians. Okay, so madami yan, no? This will make a significant difference in our management approaches. And gender issues. And of course, we have a separate topic for this, your corporate social responsibility. Okay, so I guess that's it. Let's go to the contents of your reports. These are the following topics. Now, based on the existing class list, I have distributed the following topics. Okay, now I have my reasons why some of you, like Miko, will be reporting 2 topics. Kasi these are very short topics. So, kayang-kaya mo na yan, Miko. Also to Ma'am Digna, okay, these two are connected. Okay, the Filipino culture and value systems. Ayan, this will all be reported by Ma'am Digna. This one, okay, is a celebrated topic in philosophy of management. Okay, so I think in HPO, in marketing management, in economic management, okay, you always have an area or time allotted for this topic. So if we still have time, sige, we'll talk about this, pero saka nasa dulo na lang. And this will be reserved for late enrollees. Now, for Sir Rosano, okay, you'll be talking about the Max Weber's concept of bureaucracy in the Philippine context and nurturing Philippine organizations. Madali lang po yan. Okay. For Sam, this is your topic. Okay. For Loretta, Gab, and Ikechuku. Okay, so these are the following topics. Now take note, there are a lot of materials for these topics. Okay. And they are written by foreign authors, but in your report, how do they apply, you emphasize how do they apply to Filipinos. Naku, mali pa. Okay, now if there are errors in my reports, please feel free to correct me in the comment section, because I don't have any intention of editing my videos. Okay, so Filipinos. Ayan. Okay, so I guess that's it. Ayan. Not unless you have any questions, but of course this is just a recording. Okay, if you have any questions, please feel free to write them at the comment section below. Okay, below this video siguro at YouTube, or in Facebook, or in Canvas. Okay, and you also know my contact number for those who are new to my class. I am Sigfred Erorita. Let me write that down. Sigfred Erorita. Okay. You can just call me Sig. Okay. Sig or Sir Sig or Doc Sig. Okay. Kung saan kayo masaya na rin ako. And you can reach me at Facebook. Okay. You can reach me at Facebook with this name. Okay. And my email. Okay. You can email me at Zig, small letters, no? Zig921 at Gmail. Okay, Zig921 at gmail.com. Ayan. Or there's another one. Okay, you can reach me at Outlook Rita. Okay, Rita at UC, yan, uc-bcf.edu.ph. As of now, our Canvas is not yet up and running because I'm still curating the contents. Okay, so maybe most of the time I will be sending messages to our FB group or Messenger. Okay, so again, I think that's it. Thank you.